I'm Jonathan Fluvog. Some artists have a sense of entitlement, a feeling that because they're simply doing something, that they deserve the successes and riches that come with them. Destineak have talent, charisma, and business savvy, but expect nothing to be handed to them without working for it. Strangely, a rare breed in the music industry. When you see somebody on TV that wins a contest and is hyped, it's so easy to believe that making it is just that simple. It's not.
Well, I've had the pleasure to book Destineak at a number of shows. I think one of the early ones, we put them on the Fusion Festival, playing to thousands of people in that stage, and the energy and the passion that they deliver in the live show it's astounding. I mean, I know they bring it from their personal lives. It's really the way they are as people. They're really hardworking and dedicated people, but to see that transparent at the show, that really means something. And we saw that first success a number of years ago at Fusion, so we've taken that forward. We had them at the Olympics. They played the opening ceremonies at the Surrey Celebration site. We've had them play street parties on Granville Street, on Davy Street. Awesome group. I love them.
With so many kids in our family, didn't have a lot of means to have instruments, let alone drum sets, so I started off with chopsticks, buckets, pots, pans, garbage can lids, you name it, I hit it. And then I think my brother, when I was 9, dropped the Kiss Alive record on me. I opened that up, and that changed my life. Peter Criss in front of 100,000 people on a 50-piece drum kit. Me and my chopsticks, I spent a few years with that record. Learned every beat. Hi-hats and tom fills, you name it, I got it. So that eventually led to me getting a job at McDonald's, and my mom lent me $200 and I bought my first fur-covered drum kit. Fur-covered.
Really kind of a fun experience, and actually knowing them both. Bobby from before with the whole badass rock theme and the funky drums and stuff, and Christina, of course, being really musical and writing songs and kind of being all ethereal. And when the two got together, it was just a big funky mess. It's awesome.
I'd wear so many different hats when I first started out, from designing the poster, designing the CD stickers, going to get them printed, promoting the shows, collecting the mailing list, booking the gigs, writing the charts for the band members, finding the band members, holding rehearsals. It took a lot of time and energy. It was a full-time job, and it still is. What I really appreciate about all that is that it really started me out grassroots.
So we didn't have TV back in those days. For us on the farm, outside was more important than staying inside. So there was always somebody playing an instrument, or always somebody had a guitar or a banjo, or I think my Uncle Amy used to play the spoons, and always a party going on. I think we had like a barbecue that was, 30 feet long, and there was always people at our place. So there was always music going on, and you could always stay up. I think if you started crying, Mom said, you could stay up as late as you wanted as long as you danced or sang a song. I learned how to dance.
Church taught me how to sing with passion. Every single concert, every single special event, they would always give me a solo. It taught me how to sing with other people, and it also taught me how to sing in front of a live audience with confidence and energy, and how to lead people. But another audience I had funnily enough. And the way I got my name, Christina Singh, my stage name, was when I first started picking blueberries in the fields, because we were really poor, and we all had to get side jobs to raise money to get back to school clothes. So we would go picking blueberries in the summertime. And there'd be other workers in the field, my family, we'd be rows apart, but they'd be like, Christina, sing! Everyone had their own special requests, like Jan Arden, Roy Curry. So I would just break out in song and entertain everybody in the field. So that's why they call me Christina Sing.
Destineak's fan base is comprised of like people from all walks of life, young, old, gay, and straight. It's like everyone, because people are attracted to them being genuine on stage and being who they are and being so in love. It's beautiful to watch. And I think the crowd really appeals to that. Whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, you can see the true love between them.
I grew up in Vancouver Island, small city of Victoria, little place called Blanchard Court, low-income housing. My brother, my mom, and my dad. My dad being a war vet, my mom a maid, my little brother just being a brother. We didn't always have the best place for us to grow up in. My mom was diagnosed with schizophrenia and had a whole concoction of all these different medications at the time running through her body, so set her into a tailspin every so often. We felt the aftermath of that more than once. So my dad in and out, not always the greatest support figure. So after, I guess, a dozen or so times of being reported as abused children, the government stepped in and took us out of the house we were in. After being taken away, we went into foster care. 5 and 6, I think my brother and I were. Don't always hear good stories about that. People do it for the money. People putting locks on the refrigerator and you can only eat at certain times. Pretty scared. So we bounced around for maybe about a year, different homes. And then we heard about this place called the Twin Pines Farm. We ended up on the doorstep there. And boy, oh boy, you never seen 2 kids smile so big. It's pretty awesome.
I was born in MKII, Central Vietnam. I was brought home to a small thatched roof wooden house shared by tons of my extended family. When you live in Vietnam, at least when I was little, the biggest dream was to come to America or to come to Canada. There were always these stories about these rich people that ate off plates and used knives and forks, and they'd throw them away right after. You had all the water you could drink, you could go buy anything you wanted to eat at the store, and it was the dream. So my father, who had just had my sister 3 days ago, was faced with a choice. Go to Canada or stay and take care of your newborn baby and your wife and kids. I think it was a unanimous choice, pretty much, that, if you came here, you would far exceed your expectations for life than if you stayed. So he left.
We met Ida and Vic, our foster parents and parents too, right to this day. They fostered 42 kids over the course of like 25 years, I think it was. Amazing people. 3 kids of their own, so they became our instant family. Very grateful for that.
After living in Mississauga for a year, we moved to the West Coast and arrived in Vancouver, where I've spent most of my life now. We finally established a new home. I was starting a new school. My dad and my mom had another baby, my little sister. And then the most tragic thing happened. It was Christmas time, December 1987. My dad was driving down Marine Drive and got in a fatal car accident and died. It was 6 days before Christmas. All of our Christmas presents were in the car, and so was my dad, and everything was crushed and gone within minutes. It's probably the most shocking thing that's ever happened to me. When I went back to Vietnam in 2002 to visit the house that I grew up in, it totally dawned on me why I try so hard. They still had pictures of me and my little sister up on the wall on this little shrine. And it was like, those were the two that made it to Canada. It was so important that we were the ones that made it. So I'm so glad that I have tried so hard, because I'm sure they would have wanted me to. And I hear you through the wire, calling me through space and time, under the light, under the neon light.
Seeing Destineak on stage is like an energetic bolt to the heart. You just can't help but dance, you know? It's like boom. All of a sudden, Bobby's drums start making your ass shake uncontrollably, and it's you gotta dance. That's one thing. The energy is unbelievable when Destineak is on stage. What do you think?
Energy and emotion, both. You feel the emotion from Christina singing as well as Bobby coming from the drums. Boom, boom, boom. Very tribal, very get you into it. You just gotta jump up and down. You can't not move.
No, it's electrifying, definitely.
So after I got a little taste of what was going on in the industry, I had to really start stepping up my game. Practice meant everything. Got myself a little 400 square foot apartment, 2-inch piece of foam, slept on that in front of my bass drum for a year solid, got a hot plate, cooked myself lunch and dinner. I lived in that room. I practiced every day. I think I missed one day, New Year's. Then we got a call for our first professional show. It's pretty cool. John Entwistle from The Who. Opening on a big stage like that, boy oh boy, talk about nerves in your stomach. That led to industry people being out at the show, and I got picked up for another North American tour with a band called Young Gun. That's when the whirlwind really started. Crazy. Tour buses, girls everywhere, going 100 miles an hour is crazy. That led into another band that we started called DDT. And DDT, that was tours with Scorpions, Megadeth, Alice Cooper, bands, records that I was playing with, that I was practicing to. I'm meeting these guys on stage. Unbelievable. Living the life. After touring the world and a few major record deals, just seemed like everything was crashing down around me. Taking its toll, my friends were quitting. A lot of people were kind of just losing it. I'd been making all this music in the back of the bus along the way. I just had this urge. I really needed to take it to the stage and see if I could do it myself. Didn't want to go into a rehearsal space and practice with people. I knew it was just going to be just too hard to let down one more time. So I wanted to try and do this by myself. I've been making visuals and beats and everything, and finally got it to the stage, and I wanted to put it together and put together a show called Dramatic, and it was kind of a one-man drum DJ show. I was running it off tape back then, and editing on the computer and taking it on tape to the shows, and it's more sort of soundtrack based, Didn't really know what electronic music was, but I knew I was using electronic sound, so it had to be, I was influenced by a lot more rhythmic stuff, a lot of African rhythms, a lot of different style instruments, and, it just led into being on stages with people who really knew what they were doing, and they really influenced me, showed me what, proper beats were, and just really helped me out along the way.
I always grew up as a real ugly duckling, to the point where kids would follow me home and tease me and throw stuff at me, because we never had up-to-date school clothes and fashion, and it was always bologna and ketchup sandwiches at lunch. You didn't have any cool snacks to share. So, being the loner and the nerd that I was always soul-searching and trying to find my place in any community. As soon as I discovered the rave scene and club culture, I was hooked, because there people were encouraged to flourish and encouraged to be creative and dress funky and wear crazy colors and do whatever felt best. There I met some of my best friends in the gay community. They really, really embraced me and taught me to be a burgeoning artist. You know, hanging out with the drag queens while they're doing their makeup and hair for 4 hours before going out teaches you how to get ready for a show, that's for sure. I also met some amazing DJs and producers on the dance floor, and, you know, I had all this new courage, and I walked up to this DJ named Sean Dimitri one day, and I was like, you gotta let me sing on your track. I sing in church all the time. And that started my recording career, basically. Me and Sean recorded 3 records that we released worldwide on vinyl, and I worked with other DJs as well, DJ Ali and whatnot. And yeah, I became the go-to girl to lay down vocals for house records in the late 90s a lot. It was fun, and it taught me to have courage as a performer. And I started gigging with them as well on stage in front of now I was encouraging the people to flourish and entertain, and it was a really, really good role to play. I was at this fashion event. Me and my band Free Spank were opening for a live visual drum artist. I was pretty intrigued. I wanted to see what was really going on in the scene. I look over, and there's this sweaty roadie setting up all this gear. Big drum kit, buttons, screens, all this gear galore. I don't know who he was, if he was the headliner or if he was just the tech, but I was pretty smitten right away, I've got to admit.
Pushing and just beating the streets. Just doing all our own artwork, recording our songs in our little hometown studio, doing all our own videos, all our own press work, just trying to get noticed, trying to get to the next level.
Yes, it was a lot of work. I mean, the first few years, we did everything ourselves, but as all great things, it takes big effort from a lot of people, and we were lucky enough to be given a lot of opportunities from people that believed in us from around the world. Got to work with some amazing producers and remixers from Sweden, Germany, LA. We got to make some amazing videos with our friends and crew here that we've developed in Canada, and constantly make new music. I have to say I'm so grateful for the amount of support that we've received from all of our fans. And number one, to this day, I have to be the most thankful because we are still making a living doing what we do best, which is playing live. The one thing that we are still consistently doing ever since day one is playing live. Every month, every week, we're always promoting a new show, a new energy. And that's where the music shines best. For me, I know that's where it shines best, right, Bobby?
On the stage.
On stage. So that's our big passion, is to make that come through to our audience. And that's what we work at best. And we're going to keep going. We're not ever going to stop. Consistently moving forward. This is Destineak. It's a place. We've arrived.
Sometimes where we start in life can be so different from where we end up. It's not always the cards that we've been given, but it's what you do with them that matters. It's important to me that people know the reality behind what makes an artist who they are and how they achieve what they do. I'm honored that Bobby and Christina allowed me to feature their story.
If I ever told you I didn't need you, I was lying. Can I hold you like I used to? All I ever wanted was you. Don't you remember these apologies? They all used to be a love so deep. I may be crazy, but I still believe we can make this right. Yeah, I'm falling, babe. I'm falling, babe. Yeah, I'm falling, babe. Oh, the break of day will chase those ghosts away. Then you'll find your way back. In my arms you're safe. If I ever told you